The city needs to know that as a child, I was raised in the area, and I have actually brought commissioners and put them in a van and ride them through my neighborhood and let them see. As a child, there was alleys that we used to just run through and play, and the people could park their vehicles in their alleys instead of parking on the street where a lot of cars are getting damaged. My senior citizens, they only got one vehicle, but those alleys and stuff. Why the city created some of those problems by putting those big concrete blocks and blocking the alleys out. Vegetation grew all over the place. Now the city says it's the responsibility of the community to clean it up. I don't think that's fair. In my neighborhood, the streets, my neighborhood, I've been there now 56 years, and they've never asphalted my streets. The original curves and sidewalks are there. We've got one place in my neighborhood on Hawthorne where the sidewalk has buckled. So the kids, instead of using the boards on the skateboard, they use this sidewalk to ride a ramp because the tree had buckled or something has buckled the sidewalk that bad. I got pictures of it. The kids, one time we picking up 27 tires that's being dumped in our neighborhood, illegally dumping. And I'm trying to get people, if you see somebody illegally dumping, call the police, call 911 and let them know they are illegally dumping. It's just the city needs to put effort into the infrastructure. We can make our city looks good, and it look good on the outside of the structure. But once you come inside the infrastructure, it's a lot of work. I know it can't be done overnight, but they need to make an effort to do something to the sidewalks, the curves, the alleys and stuff inside there. I've got 3 abandoned houses pushed down that was burnt, that's been burnt. One of them had been burnt over 5 years. And then I start calling the right people, knocking on the right door. We got 3 houses in OC pushed down that was burnt, that's been sitting there that I'm sure the city knew about it. Nobody pushed it and got it done. They are gone now. But there's other stuff that need to be done.
Right.
And I'm gonna teach these kids how to go through the system, how to go through the city council meeting, who to talk to, so therefore they can go and say, Mayor Holland, why is this in our neighborhood? Why do our streets look like this? Why do we have the trash and debris?
They have gone on tours before in other communities, but I think they need to come in the Kensington area and see. We do have some sidewalks, but then there's other areas where there are no sidewalks and there need to be sidewalks. And there are no handicap accessibility for anybody in a wheelchair to get up on the little bit of sidewalk. Example, Wood. That's a very busy street. Anybody traveling Wood, if they're in a wheelchair, they're going to be in the street. So I think that's something they need to look at and consider a little more, where we have the main streets. I can understand it if they don't have it on some of the little side streets, but where you have that main street. Now, we do have sidewalks in front of our school, Chelsea, but that's only so far where the kids are. But as far as handicap accessibility, no. They need to improve that a little bit within the community. Also, Parkwood, that's another school that the only place they have sidewalks is where those kids come out to get in the car to leave with their parents. Outside of that, there's no sidewalks around there. I have to talk to another lady in UG in March about putting lines in the street to let people know this is a school area, because there's no crosswalk for those kids. And I've talked to the principal, and so we're working together, and I talked to Commissioner, District at Large, #1, Melissa Bynum, and in March, we're gonna work with getting a crosswalk for those kids, because 33rd Street, there's a school there, 33rd and Garfield, but there are no crosswalks at all, and kids go to the school on the corner. There's a stop sign, but that means nothing. So they need crosswalks there, and they need to know kids do cross that street. Something to slow them down.
Really, they would have to know about the lack of it that's in our community. Uh, I know out in Quindaro, a couple of years ago, they did put in sidewalks for the kids to walk to school. And I know that's not everywhere. So, because I think they're trying to do that everywhere around the schools so that the kids will be able to walk to school. That way they get exercise and it will help them mentally as they sit in the classrooms. And then another project that I went to Topeka about was the juvenile justice. Because of we have so many children that are in juvenile and seem like they get more time than the big offender. So what they did, they passed that Senate bill, which that was a good thing for the community. They passed the Senate bill 367. Well, it's supposed to put be able to help the juveniles get access to resources, to not put them too quick into the system, try to help them, get them resources, get them mental health and different resources that they need to be able to function in the community without going into the prisons.
Well, it's only a few streets that have sidewalks. Now, back in the old days, all the streets had sidewalks. But when they tore down the houses and stuff like that, it were brick sidewalks. They took the bricks. So, the only sidewalks we have now are the school corridor that they had to put in, the city had to put in, and we also have a model block that we got done through the city, which has sidewalks, curbs, new curbs, and refurbishing. But other than that, the streets are pretty bad in that area. It definitely does, especially during the winter. People have to walk in the street, to get through. And on the main streets, just like 10th Street, for instance, the curbs are so bad they're really deteriorating. We just wonder why the city takes so long to refurbish stuff like that. That is a main street that goes through.
One thing we need, and we have had some communication with the GQ, or not, excuse me, the United Government, and in particular our two representatives, both Ms. Bynum and then Mr. Johnson, Reverend Johnson. And we have a park there. It's called West Pike Park, fairly good size. It needs some new curbing. It would be wonderful to have a walking trail there, sidewalks. There has been some improvement made there by the UG, and they have made some inquiries as to what else we might like. So hopefully that's going to continue to develop. Also, we have a lot of broken curbs, things that need to be repaired and fixed up. We have a few sidewalks that are in need of repair for safety as much as anything. Things that have been uprooted somewhat by, say, old trees and broken cement and things like that. So those are the two concerns that I would express as far as what the UG might be able to do for us. A few years ago, they helped us develop roundabouts that are gorgeous to control traffic. That did increase the taxes for people on the main boulevard there, but it was a lovely addition to the area, and it has helped solve some traffic. We used to have a speedway coming through the neighborhood on the larger boulevard that goes through there. It was an expensive improvement, but I think it has really enhanced the area. So.
Because there are a lot of students that walk to school, it's a safety issue. It's truly a safety issue for them to be able to have sidewalks at their disposal. It's very troubling to see students to have to walk in the streets just in their normal daily path to try to get to and from school. So that is a priority. There are, and one of the other things that they could also look at is, excuse me, when they plan on doing some improvements, check with other agencies, like the gas company, utility companies, to make sure that they're not going to come in a month later and have to do repairs in that same area and in essence undo what had just been done.